Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. Today is Friday, October the 25th, 2024, and this is Flosstube 94, 95, something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, if you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a channel where I talk about the cross stitch and have all the crazy plans and play Monopoly and do other things. And if you're returning to my channel, welcome back. Thanks so much for subscribing and following along with all the wild things that I like to do. Okay, I'm excited. It is Friday, and you know why it's Friday? Because I don't have to go back to work until next month. I am off work all week next week. I took the week off for my birthday. My birthday is this coming Sunday, the 27th. So happy birthday to me. Soup's excited. And what do I have planned? Whole lot of nothing. Tomorrow, unless there's been a change of plans I'm not aware of, tomorrow my mother and I are going to take a trip up to Ocala and go to Brick City Cross Stitch. It's probably my favorite local needle workshop in Florida, and do a bit of shopping for my birthday. I'm so excited. I have a baby shower for my sister-in-law that I'm going to go to on my birthday. She did not realize she scheduled it on my birthday, but that's okay. I didn't have any plans on my birthday anyway. I'm not a big celebratory person. I think me and my mom are going to go out to dinner too on Saturday, and I have an eye doctor appointment on the 30th, and I just plan on stitching the rest of the time. That's it. Hi, Gracie. You gonna let me pick you up? No. I was gonna see if Gracie could make a cameo, but no. Okay, so, okay, let me do Stitchy Kindness real quick. So the first thing is one of my friends, one of my stitching friends, what did you do? I think she accidentally bought 2 of these. She was trying to collect a series, and I want to say she accidentally bought 2 of them. And she was talking about it, and I mentioned that I wanted to get the set as well. And so she said, well, I'll send you one of, my extra copy of this. And it is from the Cricut collection. So, I have the seasons. She's collecting the months, and I want to get the months. And so she sent me December. It's a little folded up because the postal worker shoved it in the mailbox, but it's okay. It'll flatten out. But she sent me December from the Cricut collection. Well, really it's the cross-eyed Cricut, but she sent me December. Okay. And I'm going to change the fabric. It's recommended linen 30 count Lucky Penny. It's a blue from R&R Reproductions, but I'm going to do it on something else, and I'm probably going to change the letters. The letters of the word December are all the same color. I'm probably going to change the color to something else, but I don't know what yet. I don't have any plans to start it anytime soon because I need to get fabric, and I need to get the floss I'm going to use, decide what floss I'm going to use for that. And then, oh, there's some Krennics. So, but anyway, I got that. And then the other thing that I got, I'll put that there. The other thing I got was from my friend Andrew. Oh, my foot itches. Hang on. My friend Andrew, the Runner Stitcher, he has a Flosstube channel. I will link his channel down below, so you can go check him out. He did the Chicago Marathon on the 13th. And he was saying his time wasn't the greatest. It's like under 5 hours. It was 4 hours and change. Oh, you can kind of see Gracie in the corner right there. Hi, Gracie. Giving herself a bath. But his hour was like, it was like 4 hours and change. That's way better than anything I could ever do. Just saying, Andrew. So if you're ever feeling down on yourself, compare your time to what mine would have been, which would have been probably all day if I could have even finished it. But anyway, I've been talking a lot about my Monopoly game and everything. And he messaged me on Instagram and said, hey, I want to send you something. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, all right, I'll never turn down a gift. Well, it's not big. Don't get excited. I was like, Yoshi sent me magnets and I was excited about those. I just love gifts. So he sends me in this box and I'm like, what in the world? What did he send me? And I open it up. He cross-stitched on plastic canvas dice. Aren't they the cutest things? He cross-stitched the dice and he figured out how to put it all together. And he was like, you don't have to use them if you don't want to, but I wanted to make these for you. Aren't they the cutest? Look at that. Let me get my face out so it doesn't blur. But yeah, they're the best. I love them. Love, love, love. Let's get the same numbers together. Look at that. He did such a good job. He did such a good job. I love them. Thank you, Andrew. Okay. Here she is. Say hi, Gracie. She's like, what is happening? Oh, now you're okay, huh? So here's Gracie. Mr. Whiskers is somewhere. I don't know where. Hi, Gracie. Oh, my girl. Okay, get down. All right, so let's move on to the stitching. Okay, here's my board. So I worked on a lot of stuff. I did not work on other stuff, as you can see. But I did get all of my Monopoly stitching and my Great British Bake Off stitching done. And I did not work as much. Not gonna lie, I needed a break from the daily stitching. So I didn't work on my Whip of Shame or the Sal for a couple days, but I'll get back into it today. No worries. But I also did not get to all of my temperature stitching. That's okay too. I have plans for what I did not work on. It'll all work out. But yeah, so here's my board. I got a lot of stitching done. And yeah, happy with the progress. Let's get into what I actually did. Okay, so first we're going to do what I have listed under the weekly stitching, and that's the stuff, well, I didn't pull anything out of the basket last week because I just carried my stuff forward because I didn't get to work on it. But the first thing I'm going to show you, I don't need my tablet for it. First thing I'm going to show you is my Whip of Shame. So I have really old pieces that are over 10 years old. And so I have about 15 of them. And this is explanations for anyone who's just stumbling onto my channel. About 15 pieces that are over 10 years old. And so I started doing this in May. Every month, I have a whip that's over 10 years old that I try to do 100 stitches a day on for that month. And then what I started doing with it was halfway through the month, I pull two contenders out of the basket to battle it out, and I have you guys vote in the comments. Some people have asked, well, why don't you could have said you could do a post on the community tab, for people to vote. I actually don't mind going through the comments and counting out the votes and tallying them up old school with like post-it notes and doing tally marks. I don't mind doing that. Plus, unless someone else wants to do that, it's going to be a surprise. I don't want you guys to see who's winning. And not everybody sees the poll. So this kind of lets everybody who actually watches the channel but doesn't go on, it doesn't pop up in their thing with the community stuff, make sure that everybody gets to see it. So you guys vote on it for about half a month, and then at the end of the month I announce who the winner is, and that becomes the new Whip of Shame. So the Whip of Shame for the month of October is this old kit from Dimensions, and it's Walking to Town, designed by Fred Swan. I got this kit back in 1999. If I say 19, you know it's super old. I don't want to admit that I am old, but it is. It's old. It's from the 1900s. Okay, so I did this week a total of 631 stitches-ish. And I say ish because for two reasons. One, a lot of this was half cross, and so 2 half crosses count as 1 full cross. So it always looks like there's a lot more stitching than what I say there is, because it's like double the amount of half crosses to count as a full cross. And then also, I think I missed a day. I think I missed a day of writing my stuff on my board. So I kind of had to estimate. But anyway, I should already have a picture up of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here's where I'm at now. I almost have this bottom corner. This part still isn't filled in, but I'm kind of like my page, that because I copied the pattern and I'm highlighting where I stitch. And it ends kind of right here, and all this stuff runs together. So I didn't want to have like a solid line here. So I'm kind of leaving this alone right now, focusing more over here. And I almost have the bottom corner completely filled in. I think this section right here is like one color. Yeah, I believe that's one color. So whenever I finish off this thread right here, I'll go down here and finish this off. But yeah. So I've been focused more down here. I did get the fence stitched, except for, I think I still have like 4 stitches right here that need to be done on that, but I did get the fence finished. And then once I filled this in, I could probably go ahead and back stitch the fence. And then there's a little bit more right here. So I'll try to get that done this week. I'll try to like fill in the gaps this week for this part. And then that way, like I can be like, okay, that part's done. But yeah. And I just realized I didn't do my numbers. I didn't get my boards. Okay, we'll show a few projects and then I'll pause. I don't know where to put my stuff. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to show you is one of the pieces that I pulled like 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to work on it and I didn't have time to get to it. So I carried it forward. I still didn't get to work on it as much as I wanted to. But this is my Mirabilia that I have started. This is Nightingale. And I am stitching her on a piece of 28 count Lugana in the color Dusk by Picture This Plus. And I'm using the called for thread. I didn't want to do it on that nasty looking green fabric. I thought that was very ugly, so I picked a different fabric. And I got 330 stitches on her. I was hoping to get more in, but I didn't. And the bonus is that now I know which way is up. So I got 330 stitches in on her. I still have to get the cry neck that goes with this, but I'm going to that store neck tomorrow, so I'll see if they have it. If not, I'll order it on 1 2 3 stitch. But yeah, that's where I'm at with her. Really enjoying this so far. I was debating because her arm probably starts like up here somewhere. So I was debating on just kind of like either counting or just like doing like, you know, trailing this up to get to her. But I remember the first time I worked on this, I had to frog a few things because of miscounting, because the fabric is dark and I'm doing this over 2. And I didn't want to mess it up. So I'm trying to kind of like these spots here are where beads go. So I'm avoiding the beads right now only because I don't really have a beading needle. Well, I do. I just need to pull it out of like a Mill Hill kit or something. So I haven't put beads on yet. I stitch in hand, so that part doesn't matter about like being in a frame. But I figured it would be best if I kind of like filled in as I went. So that's what I decided to do. So yeah, 330 stitches on her, and happy with that, how that's coming out. Her dress is huge. So there's a lot of, I started, I think right there. That's where I was. It's still a lot to go, but that's okay. It's really pretty. She was actually the first Mirabilia that I ever bought. And I bought her because it was Nightingale and I am a nurse. And so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I want to get that. And now I've bought a few more, but I haven't started them. Okay, next up is one of my focus pieces. This is a piece I am doing for my son. It is from Stitchman Darcy, and it is called Yippee-Ki-Yay Motherfucker. It is a quote from a very famous movie, before anyone freaks out. It is from Die Hard. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I started, I don't really keep track of start dates. I think I started this in like what was it? Who remembers? Was it August? July? August. Because I started this after I got the 25,000 gold done on Honeymoon Sunset. So I started this in August. I've been trying, I neglected this for a couple weeks, and I got a firm talking to by Yoshi about the fact that this had been neglected for a couple weeks, and I was like, yes, sir, I'll put stitches in on it. So this is where I'm at with it now. So I got this letter, God dog it. I got this letter block here done, and I brought the border up and started bringing it over, and I put in the snowflakes over here. There is back stitching that is involved. As you can see, like these look more complete than these up here do because they need to be back stitched. So, and I did the back stitching around this part here. Where else did I back stitch? I don't remember if I did that this week or I don't remember. But I did a total of 744 stitches. So I think I did do some back stitching on the little border things here. And I think I did the back stitching here. Pretty sure. But I now, cross-stitching wise, I now have a total of 3,048 stitches completed out of 6,661, and I am at 45.76%. So, we're making a lot of progress as it goes away. And I'm doing this on a 14 count, I don't know, like white Aida, ivory Aida, some 14 count Aida. It was like one of those little squares that you pick up at the craft store. So I will keep plugging away at this every week, hopefully. I'm hoping because I'm not working. So as you can see, I do get a lot of stitching done. Working full time. I work Monday through Friday. And I don't usually get home until sometime between 5 and 6. And so I do, for what I do get done, like that's quite a bit. So I'm hoping the fact that I'm not working for an entire week, that I can get a lot more done. Hoping to see some great progress this week, upcoming week. And I'll be back to my regularly scheduled programming where I will film an update on Thursday, because even though I will be off on Friday, well, maybe, no, I'll stick with my normal days. I was thinking I could film Friday because I won't be working that day. It's the day I get the kids back, but I won't be working that day. But I want to get back on a normal schedule again with filming. So we'll stick with the Thursday update as usual. And I have to, maybe Friday will be when I do my end of the month recap for October. Maybe we'll do that. Okay, next up is, I'm trying to untangle these threads as I'm talking, so now I'm like really distracted. Okay, next up is the Heaven and Earth Sal. The Sal that never ends. So this is a closed stitch along, but they will be actually November the 1st. They're going to be releasing the new patterns that will be available for the 2025 Sal. It will be, next year, I believe, will be another closed stitch along. So you're going to have from November the 1st until December the 31st to make your decision about if you want to join or not. I will not be joining. I know you guys are probably like, oh yeah, she says that now. No, I have been seeing the sneak peeks about what the patterns are, and I'm still, Ailarra is now on the fence if she's going to join or not, I think, unless she went back to no. But I told her, because she completed the Sal. Ailarra was doing the same piece I was, right? She went gangbusters and finished that thing. Like not long after the 4th part was released. So she's done. It's off her mind. She's not even thinking about it now, unless I send her pictures and say, look what I did. And I told her, I said, I feel like this Sal is like having a baby, in the fact that when you're actively, like when you're at the end of your pregnancy, you're like, you know, 50 months pregnant and you're the size of a house and you are miserable and you just want it to be over. That's where I'm at right now. I'm 9 months pregnant with this Sal and I want it to be over. 10 months pregnant because we're in October. And you just want it to be done. And then you go into labor and you're like, you know, you got the pain and the contractions and the pushing and you're like, what was I thinking? I can't do this, you know, all the things that when you go into labor, right? And you feel like you're dying. And then you have the baby. And then you have the newborn stage, you know, all that stuff, right? And then the baby is now a year or two old. And you start thinking about having another kid. Oh, it wasn't that bad. I wouldn't mind having another baby. No, the labor wasn't that bad. The delivery wasn't terrible. Yes, it was. You just forgot about it. That's how I feel this is. Where she's at. I said, you are now like in that toddler stage where you think it's okay to do this again. I'm still in the end of my pregnancy going into labor stage with mine. I'm like, no, I do not want to do this again. Okay, so anyway, this is the one I picked this year, and this is Merry Mushroom Village Picnic 2. Artwork is by Amy Stewart. This is a snippet of Merry Mushroom Village Picnic, and Mr. Whiskers, come here. Oh. There's Mr. Whiskers. Hello, my boy. Hey, baby. So I don't know if I've ever shown y'all his toe beans. I don't know if I can. I can show you his back ones. They're all gray. He has all gray toe beans and all gray, no pink. He's gray everywhere. Look at those toe beans. And he has gray nose. He's my baby. I love him so much. My boy. Okay. I had to just pick him up and show him because every time he doesn't come on the video, people are sad. Okay, so anyway, I did Merry Mushroom Village Picnic 2. And if the rules are the same and you want to join the Sal for next year, like this year, it's if you complete 4 pages, you get all of the charts that were made available in the Sal. And if you complete the piece by the end of the year, then you get all the charts plus 2 free charts off of the Heaven and Earth website for free. Charts of your choosing. It's not like you get this one and this one. No, you get to pick 2 of your own. So if you're doing the sale and you haven't finished, but you know you will finish by the deadline and you have not already picked your charts, I would suggest starting to look now so that you can get that Google form filled out when they post it and submit your stuff, and you already have the charts picked out and you don't miss the deadline for getting your free stuff. If you have not joined the sale, but you're thinking about doing it next year, I whine and moan about this sale because that's how I am. Don't not do the sale because of what I say. Because I bitch and moan about stuff all the time. All of the pieces that were available this year were anywhere from 60,000 to 61,500 stitches. And I'm doing mine in half cross because I knew that if I did full cross, I would not finish it. So I'm doing mine in half cross, and both ways count. One is no worse or no better than the other one. It's what you want to do. And so I'm assuming that the rules for next year's sale will be the same. That's what I'm thinking, that if you do 4 pages by the end of the year, and they have to be 4 full pages. You can't do 3 full pages and a partial page. It has to be 4 full pages of the sale by the end of the year. Then you get all the charts that were made available. And if you finish it by the end of the year, then you get all of them plus 2 free charts of your choice. So once again, since I kept yammering on, there's what I picked. And mine will be done by the end. Mine will actually be done before Thanksgiving, thank God. But that's where I'm at. Wow, it looks really good on camera. I did 1,986 stitches on this since the last time you saw it. And hang on. Yeah, I finished the diagonal, this one right here. And I think that's where I stopped, and then I didn't pick it up again. I was like, I need a break for a few days. But I only have that much left. So I have now 54,053 stitches done out of 61,500. I am at 87.89%. And if I go back to doing, I started doing 300 stitches a day on it to try to get it done ASAP. And so it should be done before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving in America is like the 3rd week of November, the 3rd Thursday of November, or is it the 4th? The 4th Thursday of November. I don't even know when Thanksgiving is. That's terrible. But my plan for this coming week is to do the 300 stitches a day to kind of get back on track. And because I didn't stitch on it, I know 2 days. Wednesday and Thursday I did not stitch on it, I believe. Not sure about Tuesday. I don't remember Tuesday. I think it was just Wednesday and Thursday. But my plan is to do 300 stitches a day like I had been doing. And then depending on, like, maybe work on a piece or 2. And then like maybe throw a thread, like take one of the threads from the park area and work that thread until it's done or something. Maybe try to do a bit more, but not all at once. Kind of spread the stitches out. Like do at least 300 in one sitting, but then here and there pick it up and throw another like 50 or 100 stitches on it throughout the day. Just to try to see how much of this I can get done. I'm not gonna lie, I was telling Ailarra, I was like, oh my God, I think I could get this done next week. No, it's not gonna get done next week. I don't know what I was thinking. It's not gonna get done next week. But it will hopefully be done within the next, not this floss tube, but maybe 2 more floss tubes, I will hopefully have a finish. Fingers crossed. Okay. Next thing I want to show you is, let's do temperature stitching. So my temperature stitching, I have 10 projects assigned to the numbers 0 through 9. I look ahead at the temperatures and see what the high of the day for my area is going to be. So if it's 84 degrees, for example, then I would take the number 4 from that temperature, and I would take the piece that's assigned to the number 4 and put 100 stitches on it. So every time that project's number comes up on the temperature's high for the day as the second digit, then it gets 100 stitches. So there's some that don't get any stitches for the week. There's some that get just 100. There's some that'll get like 400. It's just, it varies. It's based on the temperatures of the week. And like I said, it's the second digit of the temperature. If you wanted to try something like this at home, it's the second digit of the temperature. So if I had, say, Monday had a high of 84, Tuesday had a high of 76, Wednesday had a high of 74. The piece that's assigned to the number 4 would end up getting 200 stitches. Once for the 84 on Monday and once for the 74 on Wednesday. The piece that's assigned to number 6 would get 100 stitches for the, what I say, 76 that was on Tuesday. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so temperature stitching. I did not get to all of it, so I will go over the ones that I did do. And oh, no, I do have it here. Okay, I was gonna say, and of course I don't have what numbers they belong to. Okay. So the first one I'm going to show you is Cup of Cheer. This one was assigned to, hang on, come over here. This one was assigned to the number 1, and it came up 1 time, so I needed to do 100 stitches on it. And this is from Shannon Christine Designs. And 100 stitches doesn't sound like a lot for like, oh, this is what I did. Like some people will be like, oh, 100's not a lot, but it adds up a lot. It adds up a lot. And so this is what it's going to look like when it's done. It's so cute. I can't wait till it's finished. And I am doing this on, I don't know if this is a 14 or a 16 count Aida, in some kind of like grayish color. I don't remember what color this is. It's like a blue gray. And I ended up doing my 100 stitches in the word cup. I actually did what I said I was gonna do. So the word C, or the letter C is done, and I started on the U. So 100 stitches isn't a lot to, like in one sitting, but like I said, it will add up. And so if this comes up again, then I will continue with the words, with that word, so that the word cup is actually finished. Oh yeah, I started on the white stitching right down here too, because the white goes, so the letter C isn't finished. I'm a liar. But the white goes up around the letters as well. So I got a little bit of a start on that. But anyway, so there's that. So that got its 100 that it needed for the week. And then I will figure out how to put something back in a bag eventually. There we go. Okay. And then the next one that I worked on, well, I'm showing them in their number order, not the order I worked on them in. The next one I'm going to show you is the one that was assigned to the number 2, and that is probably currently my favorite temperature piece. I was so excited. This is from Glendon Place, and it is called Poltergeist Pirates. Love, love, love this piece. Absolutely love this piece. And again, it's from Glendon Place. And the number 2 came up in the temperature 4 times. So this one was owed 400 stitches. Did I do all 400? You betcha. I wanted to. I was like, I want to get this thing stitches like you wouldn't believe. Okay. So I am doing this on the called for fabric. This is a 28 count casual linen in the color Bang by Crosswing Collection. They designed this fabric, see, it's like blue with like white splotches. But they designed this fabric for this piece, kind of like a night sky. And that's where I got to. Again, I did what I said I was gonna do. And so I worked my way, so I had to put some stitches in on the dragon head, because this one I'm not copying, I did not make a copy of the pattern. So I'm kind of doing this, like looking at the pattern and figuring out where I am. And there's a lot of repetitiveness in this mast here. So I was like, all right, let me see where I'm at with the dragon head. I threw some stitches in so I know what these symbols are. And I was looking at the pattern, figured out those symbols to where this was. And I figured out where this had to go, all that stuff. So I started working on the sail up here. But I didn't want to go too far because I didn't want to miscount. And then once I got this part done, I was able to put in this, which meant that I could start coming up here and working on the skeleton parrot. So that's exciting. And then, so my plan, so I did 400 stitches on it. I can do 600 more before it gets replaced, but my plan will be to finish stitching the parrot. I don't have that much more to go. And then I think I can go ahead and actually backstitch the parrot itself. And so that's what I'll probably do. I will finish the hat, because this wing over here is done. This wing over here is done. And I want to say that the head is done, but I moved in on the hat. And I might need to, oh no, his head's not done. I think I need to do the eye and the bottom part of the beak. And I gotta do this wing, and there's a leg right here. And once that's done, then I'll start back stitching him, so that the back stitching, I'm trying to back stitch as I go on this, which is what they recommend. They definitely recommend back stitching as you go. Don't save it all for the end. So this has 6 more times that it can be worked on. So with my temperature pieces, I work on them a total of 10 times for 1,000 stitches total progress on it. And then it gets switched out for something else. Cup of Cheer, that was the second time I worked on it. So it has 8 more times that it can be worked on. Poltergeist Pirates has 6 more times it can be worked on. Okay, next up, Gothic House I did not work on. Next up is Halloween Wishes. This one was assigned to the number 5. And this is another Glendon Place piece. And it says, ghosts and goblins, spooks galore, scary witches at your door, jack-o'-lanterns smiling bright, wishing you a haunting night. I am doing this with the called for thread. I got the thread pack when I bought the pattern, but I'm doing it on a different fabric. I'm doing this on a 32 count vintage Stormy Night 2/2. And I didn't quite do what I said I was going to do. I said I was going to finish the scary witches, and I did not do that. I got most of the S done, but I still have a little bit left of the S to do. My thread ran out. not the amount of thread that I have available, but that length on my needle ran out. And I decided to go up and work on a different color. And so I started on, what does it say? Spooks Galore. So I did 300 stitches on this. And so this was the first time I had pulled it out to work on it. I did 300, so this has 7 more times of 100 stitches each that it can be worked on. And I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun to work on. Meow meow. I hear Mr. Whiskers meowing. Probably wants his num-nums. Okay. Next up is library. Haunted library style I didn't get to. The last one I worked on is Welcome. This is a kit from Artiste. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. I will say for the first time, I mean, I haven't finished a lot of kits, so I don't know if I will have this problem in the future, but I will say this particular kit, I am running out. I'm not going to have enough black to finish it. However, because you use black in cross stitching and you also use black to back stitch, and I will say some of the back stitching I did in the beginning was a little excessive. Instead of going up and then down and then up over here and back down and then back up over here, like I was like up, down, and then skipped ahead, so that I was like constantly coming from one end going into where the current backstitch thread was. And so I think that kind of wasted, but not wasted, some of the black floss, but it's okay because it's black. I have tons of it. So I'm just using my own black now. Anyway, but I did want to warn you guys about that I did not have enough black to finish it the way I was stitching it. So if you do this project, if you find it, you might need to find an alternative way to do your back stitching or have some black floss on standby. But this is where I'm at with it now. This got worked on for 2 temperatures, so it got 200 stitches done. And I completely finished the L. Now, anywhere that there's not back stitching, like here is really obvious there's back stitching missing here because there's a motif that goes right here. Same with this right here. This is like kind of blocked out because there's something that's going to go right here. And then but I finished all the back stitching I could on the L, and then I moved over to this E right here. That's where that is so far. So it looks like it's almost done, but there is still some more stuff to do. But yeah, it's moving right along. It's moving right along. And this one was assigned to the number 8. And it has 2 more times to be worked on before it gets replaced. So there's still 200 more stitches. 200 stitches goes a long way because I got almost like a lot of that E done within like 100. I don't even remember how many back stitches it was, but 200 stitches goes a long way on those projects. Okay, so that was all of my temperature stitching. All right, let's do the Great British Bake Off. So I got the idea from Jessie Marie over at Jessie Marie Does Stuff. She has I just realized I don't think I linked that channel in the video when I talked about it. Not the channel, maybe the specific video. Whoopsies. Jessie Marie started off with making a cross-stitch game to play along with when she watched Big Brother, and then a friend of hers had suggested doing it to like a cooking competition, like Great British Bake Off baking show. It's called 2 different things in 2 different countries. Where they have, and you could do it to any kind of competition show that has like set events every week. So she made one with Great British Baking Show too. And she showed a few different ways that you could do the show. either by assigning projects to every contestant and having set stitch counts based off of events that happen, like a handshake from Paul Hollywood being eliminated, Star Baker, and then she had a formula to calculate who gets first and last in the technical, stuff like that. So I kind of took both of her things, and then she had a monogamous version because she did all that, and then she realized she couldn't do all the stuff for Big Brother and do the stuff for Bake Off like she wanted to. So she also came up with a monogamous version, and she explained that in her video as well. And I'm going to try to be good and actually link that explanation video in my description box so that you can go and listen to what she talks about, how the different versions that she came up with. I kind of took both of those versions and I meshed them together. I took a little bit from the 5,000 project version and a bit of the monogamous version and kind of blended them together. I have 3 projects total for Bake Off. So I have Honeymoon Sunset as my main piece for the show. So I have stitch counts ranging from 100 to 1,200 randomly assigned. I did 1 through 12, wrote the names down. Actually, I paused Jessie Marie's video and wrote down the names she had listed in alphabetical order. And they were numbered 1 through 12. And then I took I went on my phone and I did the little die roll app thing. And I did a D12 and I was like, okay, 100. And I hit roll and that number got the 100. And I just did that all the way up through 1,200. So say Bob is assigned to the number 500 and he gets a handshake from Paul Hollywood, then I'm going to put 500 stitches in on Honeymoon Sunset. If Jill, these aren't real people in the show, I'm making them up so that there's no spoilers. If Jill is assigned, if Jill has the 1,200 stitches assigned to her and she gets eliminated, then I'm going to put 1,200 stitches in on a Honeymoon Sunset plus the 500 from Bob for the handshake, which is 500, so that's 1,700. And then if Bob gets Star Baker, that's another 500. So whenever an event happens with them, their stitch count gets put on Honeymoon Sunset. And so everybody has either an even 100 or an odd 100, 100, 200, 300, etc., right? I have 2 pieces that that are from my work on till it's finished pile. There's 15 of them. So I have 15 pieces that are work on till it's finished. I picked 2. I picked one that I had pulled out a couple weeks ago because it was already out. And then I picked one that I really wanted to have done. And I have one assigned to even and one assigned to odd. So as I watch the show, I see who gets last in technical and who gets first in technical. I look at what stitch count they have assigned to them. And if it's one of the even stitch counts, then the even piece gets that formula of stitches. I feel like this makes no sense. And of course, I don't have my notebook that I have my Bake Off stuff written on. I'll explain more about it when I go over my plans. But anyway, so I went back to the beginning because we're now like 4 weeks in to the current season. And I went back to the beginning and I started from week 1. And I've already watched the week 2 episode, so I know what I need to stitch on. So we'll go over that in plans. I'm not going to say who has what stitch count because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who decides that they want to start doing this from the beginning. But let me do my technical stitch first. My technical stitch, so the people who got first and last in technical, which is the middle part of the show, where they get, you know, for example, they've never had to do this, but, you know, oh, your technical for the week, you know, for pie week is like you have to make a pecan pie. They'll never do that because they're British and pecan pie is an American thing. But, oh, you have to do a pecan pie, and they get like a basic recipe. And of course I choose the most basic pie. How about lemon meringue pie? That's more difficult. They get a basic recipe, and they get the ingredients in front of them. Everyone has the same recipe, same ingredients, but they don't really give them specific measurements or specific instructions. Like they'll tell you the temperature. Sometimes they don't tell you the temperature, but they don't tell you how long to bake it for. Or they'll say, make a pie crust. Okay. So they have to figure it out. And then it's a blind tasting. So they put their stuff up on the table behind their photo, and the photos are facing away from the judges. So the judges can't see who has what. And the judges come back in, they leave for this bake. They come back in, they taste test everyone, and they judge them based on the taste, how it looks, how well they were able to replicate this bake. And they rate them 1 through however many players there are. So whoever gets last in technical is however many players are left in the game, like however many did that bake, times 25. So if, say, for example, it's 10 players, for example, say there's 10 players that did the bake, I would do 10 times 25, and whichever person got last, if they were an odd stitch count, like say their stitch count was 300, my odd piece would get 250 stitches. If they came first in technical and their stitch count was 300, it's the number of players times 50, so that would get 500 stitches. Now I go through all that because the person in week 1, the people who got first and last in technical both had the same even or odd. I don't remember which one it was now, and I don't have a notebook right here. I don't know where I put it. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the people who got first and last in technical were both even stitch counts. And again, I don't want to say who they are in case you decide you want to do this or you just haven't gotten to watch the first episode. I don't want to spoil it for you. So they both were even stitch counts. So I did, and they actually only had 11 people in the technical bake because somebody was sick. So I did 11 times 25 and 11 times 50. And just one more chapter is assigned to the even ones. And that's what it's going to look like when it's done. It's by Puntini. So I did 25 times 11 and 25 times 50, since not all 12 players got to do the technical bake. And that totaled 825 stitches. And I got that all done. And that's where I'm at now. So what do I have left? I got to finish the clock here. I have to finish the words just one. This book here. There's some back stitching in these 2 books I need to do. And then I need to fill in the pages in this book and do the back stitching. And it's just to show that there's like how thick it is. It's not like back stitching each individual line, I don't think. Yeah, it's just like 2 lines of back stitch in each book right there and there. And then same thing with this one. And then there's one more book underneath it. And then I have to finish the black banner down here and fill in this. And want to say that will, oh wait, there is no back stitching in those books. Is there? Yes, there is. Yeah, there is. I feel like it doesn't show it though. Look, see those books? It doesn't look like there's back stitching in them, but it does look like it's in the pattern. But I don't want to show you because then I would have to show like most of the pattern. I don't want to do that. We'll see. I might not need to do that. I'll have to take a closer look at that. But anyway, I don't have a whole lot to go. I got quite a bit done. So I did 825 stitches on this for my technical bake. So there's that. And then put this back in the bag. Okay, Honeymoon Sunset. First week, somebody got a handshake and their stitch count assigned to them was 800. And then Star Baker, their stitch count was 300. So that was, and nobody got eliminated because somebody was sick. Oh, I guess I did spoil it a little bit for you. Whoops. So that was 1,100 stitches I needed to do on Honeymoon Sunset. I guess that was, I should have said spoiler alert. 869, so Honeymoon Sunset is by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter, and it's 869 by 649. It has 133 colors, and I got all 1,100 stitches done. I am doing this 2/1 half cross on a 25 count easy count Lugana. And hang on, where are my cats? Okay, I wanted to make sure they weren't behind me. So I'm gonna stand up when I show this because then I'm gonna show the whole thing. Okay. Actually, before I do that, okay, so I got my 1,100 stitches completed. Moving right along with this diagonal right here. I got past the palm tree finally. And now I'm going to be getting the rest of the diagonal filled in right there up in the sky. So that's exciting. I'm done with the tree for now. So I decided to convert this to a diagonal. I've been working all over, as you'll see when I open this up, but I converted this into a diagonal earlier this year. And I think, I want to say maybe in like May. I don't remember exactly when, but I was like, let me just start doing this in a diagonal. And I've gotten so much done in this corner. It's unreal. But I did 1,100 stitches and I now have, I can't even show the whole thing right now. 202,392 stitches done out of 563,981. I am at 35.89%. So there's the corner that I converted to. Wow, I can't even be like, here it is. I have to hold it back here. So once this diagonal gets done, I'll come back down here and start a new diagonal. I do my diagonals 20 stitches wide, and I do have it in Pattern Keeper because I feel like 10 stitches wide is just too narrow. So I do mine 20 stitches wide. But I've worked all across the top here. There's the tree from hell. This is like, it looks so good, right? But this is like the worst tree ever. I hate it so much. Like, I love it, but I hate it. Because it looks really good, so I love it. But I really hate palm trees anyway. Not great for someone who lives in Florida on the coast where they're everywhere. I got 3 palm trees in my yard. And then there's the middle. That's where the sailboat's coming in. I'm leaving these here. I don't care about them. They don't bother me. I know they bother some people, but they don't bother me. So there, I think that's another palm tree getting outlined right there. And down in the bottom corner over here, got a lot of those flowers done. And then over here is the gazebo. And more flowers, and then the sand. So I'm really loving how it's turning out. I like, this is my favorite piece out of all 300 plus projects I have. This is my favorite. I really, really love it, and I'm really excited to keep working on it. My goal is to get it to 45% by the end of next year. And especially, I think it's very doable to get that done, especially once I don't have the hay sow to contend with anymore. Because like I said, I took a break from both of the daily stitching, the whip of shame and the hay sow, but the hay sow took up more of my time regarding daily stitching. And I think if I don't have to deal with that once it's done, I feel like I'm gonna get back on track with working on stuff, because sometimes I by the time I get my daily stitching done, I only have time to do like maybe a couple hundred stitches on a project here and there. So depending on what time I get home and if I have my kids or not, because when I have the weeks I have my kids, I get them every other week for a week at a time. Like I have to go pick them up from their dad because they walked from school to their dad's house because he's like a mile from their school. So co-parenting is awesome. I don't have to pay for a bus service to drive them because they go to a charter school. So there's no buses at their school. You can pay for a private bus to pick up your kid and bring them home. That's what I did the past couple years. But now they're old enough to walk to and from school. Well, in their dad's eyes, they are. Me, I'm like, I was ready like a year ago. I'm like, let them walk. But I drop them off at their dad's house in the morning, the weeks I have them, and then they walk from their dad's house, well, ride their bike and their scooter, but they go to their dad's house or from their dad to school, and then they go back to their dad in the afternoon. I go there, I pick them up, and then we go home. Then I have to cook dinner, and then we have to eat. Then then we clean up. So sometimes I don't get to sit down to start stitching until like 8:30, almost 9 o'clock. And then if I do my daily stitching, then I don't have time to do other stitching. So yeah, so I'll be excited to get the hay cell done because I won't have to worry about that anymore. Okay. Moving on to Monopoly. Oh, shit. Hang on. My notebook for my Monopoly game is over here. I was getting all set up to play Monopoly. And I was like, let me get my notebook ready. And I left it over there. Okay, Monopoly. So, let's go over what the cat did first. So, the cat passed go last week, so it was finally able to purchase properties because my Monopoly game to spread it out, I used my family's house rule of you have to go around one full time before you can buy properties. That's to spread the players out so that we're not all piled up on top of each other. So when they pass go, I have a project that when they pass go, they do 200 stitches on it. If they land on go, it's 400 stitches. So my go project is the Enchanted Christmas Reindeer by Donna Gelsinger, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it's the stocking. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And I'm doing it 2/1 half cross on a 25 count easy count Lugana. And so since the cat passed go, I did 200 stitches on it. And I started converting this into a diagonal as well, sort of. Well, yeah. But I had originally started in the middle. So there's stitches down here too. But I got my 200 stitches in. And I think I actually, yeah, I completed this diagonal here. And then I think I threw in a few more. That diagonal was just about 200 to finish it off, but I did get some more stitches done. So next time someone passes go, I'll start working these part threads in and then get that diagonal filled in. But yeah, so I did 200 stitches on this, and I have now done a total of 11,805 stitches completed out of 55,903, and I am at 21.12%. So cat passed go and landed on Mediterranean. Oh God. Purchase Mediterranean Avenue. Mediterranean, so to purchase a property on side 1 of the board, which is the side from go to jail, to purchase is 100 stitches. Now, the project assigned to Mediterranean Avenue is a kit from Artiste. It's this little kit that I've had for a while now. Nativity, like the little nativity scene right here, okay? I got my 100 stitches done for the cat to purchase go. Now let's take another look at this, shall we? So you see that, right? Okay, look at the nativity scene. See how it's lighter up here? It's not lighter up there. What's happening, you ask? And I was like, God, there's a lot of dark. Look, there's lighter on the little straw bassinet. It's not lighter there. What's going on? I looked at the pattern again. There are a total of 3 symbols that are blurry and make them, well, there's 2 symbols that are blurry and they make them look like the 3rd symbol, which is a dark brown. And I got really pissed off and I said, fuck it. This is a UFO. It's not that I screwed, well, I mean, I did screw it up, but when I'm looking at it, like I have to hold it, I had to hold it under my magnifier to figure out the difference between all of the things. Hang on. So this symbol right here on the edge is not the same as the one that's in the middle right here. They're 2 different colors. And I couldn't tell that. Like, so there, it was too much. It was too much. There was too many symbols. And then actually, because I'm trying not to show the whole thing, where Mary is, that's also a different symbol. That's a completely different color. That's like blue. And I couldn't tell because the pattern, it's like double printed almost. Like a double exposure in a way. And I couldn't tell. So where that dark line is on Mary, that should have actually been blue. Not even one of the lighter colors that this should have been. So I got really pissed off and I ain't doing it. I'm not even restarting it because I can't read the pattern very well. So we're done. I got my 100 stitches, so I'm counting it as my Monopoly stitching. I did the 100 stitches and after I was done, I was like kind of looking back and forth. I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right here. So we're gonna replace it with something else. I'll show you when I do my plans. Okay, moving on. Hey, you know what? Shit happens. Okay, the dog rolled and the dog landed on Tennessee, which was the Harry Potter stitch along. I had to think about it for a minute. The Harry Potter stitch along, Tennessee. So the Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure from Cunning Cross Stitch. This is no longer available. He took it down when he started the Middle Earth stitch along this year. But this is an outline of the parchments. Every piece, so it's a Stitch Your Own Adventure. So every chapter, you read the story, and at the bottom like when you download. Gracie! That little bitch just had her claws on the frame, the door frame, and was doing this number. That, I'll beat her ass. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Don't do that again. Anyway, so when you got the pattern, you read the story, and then at the bottom of the story, they had hyperlinks because you had to choose something. So like for like chapter 1 right here, that's your house banner, and you could either do the quiz online to see what house you would be sorted into, or they had 4 elements on the bottom: earth, fire, air, and water, and you picked which element you wanted, and it kind of brought you down. When you open it up on the PDF, it hyperlinked you down to that portion, which would tell you what house you were in. So I'm doing this pattern 3 times. So I'm explaining that because I'm doing this 3 times. I'm doing it once for myself and then once for each of my kids. And all 3 of our pieces, it's gonna be really fun to see. I'm so like not there, but it's gonna be fun to see once we get more of this stuff progressing, because our stuff is gonna look so different. Okay, so the only thing I have printed out is the introduction, which is the parchment outlines. The rest of the PDFs are on my computer, and my computer was in the living room, and I didn't feel like pulling the computer and like finding where I was, so I could, for 100 stitches. So you saw my before picture, and I got my 100 stitches. So I pulled the parchment outlines out, and I started working on one of those letters that are going to go across the bottom. And I picked the letter that was like right here at the base of parchment 2. And I started working on that letter, and I got my 100 stitches on it. So once I get the stitching for that letter done, I will actually, I think there's 2. Yeah, there's another envelope that kind of overlaps this one. So I'll probably do both of those, and then I'll backstitch them. I have a howler. That's the red one that, like, when the kid's in trouble, it comes in and it starts like screaming at you. I have a pattern for a howler envelope, and I'm going to put that, the boys will probably want it too, but I'm going to figure out how to put it in place of this envelope right here. I'll have a howler right there on mine anyway, but this is the one that I ended up doing over here. So I got my 100 stitches in on it. I know I had originally planned on working on my Quidditch game, but I figured, you know, the outline part is going to have to get done anyway, so doesn't matter when I work on it or when I do that, right? It's all got to get done anyway, so it doesn't really matter where I go. So that's probably what I'll end up doing in the future, is if I work on one of those pieces the weeks I don't have the kids, because my son, because of course whenever I work on this, that's my younger son's time to play like Roblox with his friends. And so I don't feel like, you know, kicking him off the computer just to do 100 stitches on that. So I'll just, if I have them and I got to stitch on it, then I'll just work on the outline part. Okay. Next up is the thimble. The thimble rolled doubles and got out of jail on the first try, because the thimble apparently loves rolling doubles, and it landed on Virginia Avenue. And oh, so the dog did 100 stitches because the dog was in jail for like 50 years and he just got out. And so he is still going around the board at the first time, so he can't even buy properties yet. So anything he lands on until he passes go, we're only doing 100 stitches on. The other 3 players, they're all buying all the properties up. So the thimble was in jail. I rolled doubles the first try and it got out of jail, and I went ahead and let it proceed on, because in the normal Monopoly game, you roll doubles and you just get out, but that's no fun when you're doing it with a stitch game. So if you roll doubles, you get out and you go forward that many spaces, you just don't get to roll again. So the thimble rolled 4, landed on Virginia Avenue, and that was this piece here. This is Summer Sampler by Cooler Design Studio, artwork by Sandy Orton, and this is on side 2 of the board. So those pieces are 200 stitches to purchase. I'm a big fat liar. That is not what happened. Hang on. That's not it. I'm a liar. No, ignore what I just said with which whip it was. Autumn Favorites. Oops, I dropped that. Let's try this again. Virginia Avenue is Autumn Favorites by Shannon Christine Designs. My bad. Autumn Favorites by Shannon Christine Designs. This is on side 2 of the board. So it was 200 stitches to purchase. Okay. And I got my 200 stitches done. I'm doing it with the called for DMC on a 14 count or 16. I don't know. Chalkboard Ada. And I did it in the word bonfire. So I'm almost done with the S here. And so whenever someone lands on this to pay rent, since the Thimble owns it now, if someone lands on it to pay rent, I'm going to finish the S here, and then I'm going to go back in with the white and do the back stitching in the word bonfires. Okay, so got my 200 stitches on that. Okay, now let's get to the actual summer sampler. So the car landed on Pennsylvania Railroad and purchased Pennsylvania Railroad for 200 stitches. Hang on. Okay. The car landed on Pennsylvania Railroad and purchased it for 200 stitches. The railroads, I have my samplers, my seasonal samplers from Cooler Design Studio assigned to them. That's okay. So Summer Sampler got 200 stitches. I'm doing this with the call for DMC, 2/2, either half cross, quarter stitch, whatever, but 2/2 on a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco. And this is where I'm at with it. So all of the cross stitching is completed in this section right here. And I started in on the back stitching. So I got most of the back stitching done. I was trying to back stitch each color. What's happening here? Oh, that's supposed to be like that. Never mind. I was about to pluck that out. I got most of the back stitching done. So the next time someone lands on this to pay rent, I'm going to finish the back stitching, and I will probably get started on the tomato seed pack that's right here. And then once I get that done, then I'll be able to back stitch around the bottom right here. But yeah, got my 200 stitches done on that. So that's exciting. And that's all my whips. Okay. Real quick. There it is. Real quick, I'm going to pull out, so I didn't get to all of my, I'll talk about the stuff I didn't get a chance to work on when I come back and talk about plants. But real quick, I'm going to pull out one full coverage and one non-full coverage out of my basket here. I'm not doing, I'm not doing the new start part because I did not get to start my new start last week, so I'm going to get to it this week. I will say that before I talk about plans. And then the work on till it's finished basket, I'm not pulling anything out of that because I have the 2 work on till it's finished pieces as technical bakes for the Great British Bake Off. So this is, I believe, my non-full coverage. No, this is my full coverage basket. And what I pulled out was White Tiger Ghost. And then my non-full coverage is, oh, Holiday Quaker. Fun. Okay, so I'm going to pause here. We're going to jump over to my Monopoly game. We're going to play a round of Monopoly. And then once I get done with that, we will come back and I will update my boards at that time, since I did not do my numbers and my boards are still sitting over there. We'll update my boards and then I will show you all the stuff that I have planned for the upcoming week. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so here we go. I got all my pieces laid out. We're starting off down here on this side of the board. And let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Oh, I forgot about the dice. Oh, well, they're on the other side of the room. I'll get them another day. Andrew's dicing made me. All right, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oriental Avenue. And the cat is now able to buy properties, so it's going to purchase Oriental Avenue. Yeah. Okay. Let me move him because I got to slide this board down. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the dog, who's currently in Tennessee. Now the dog is still going around the board for the first time, so anything he lands on, we're only doing 100 stitches on that property. 8. Oh my God, I got doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Atlantic Avenue. And now we're going to roll again. Oh my God. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Luxury tax. I got to remember what I said I was going to do for luxury tax. We'll get to that in plans. Okay. Oh, brother. Please don't be doubles. Oh, thank God. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Connecticut. Okay, so dog passed go. And it landed on Connecticut. And I do not believe that Connecticut has been purchased yet. It has not. So it is going to purchase Connecticut. Okay. Now let me move the dog so I can slide this back down. The dog really wanted to be able to buy stuff, huh? Okay, now we're going to move on to the Thimble, who is currently sitting at Virginia. Okay. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. New York Avenue. And I believe that New York Avenue is available to be bought, so it is going to buy New York Avenue. Now we're at the car. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Chance. Okay. Taking one off the top of the chance. Oh boy. Advance to go. 400 stitches on the go piece. So we're going to come back down, land on go. Okay. So that means that my go piece is going to get 400 stitches. Okay. So there's a round of Monopoly. I think that's a good stitching amount. And with all the other stuff I have going on, so yeah. All right, I'm gonna go pull all this stuff, come back, show you my crap, talk about the plans. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I need to make a correction because I realized when I was calculating out my numbers that I did miss days when I was doing my daily stitching because my stitch count on Pattern Keeper was not matching up with what I was mathing with what I've already did in the past on my board with what I had on like this board. Adding these stitches to what I had written down was not matching up. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like 500 something stitches off. So I'm pretty sure that both my Whip of Shame and I'm pretty sure that one's not correct either with the stitch count. I have no idea what it is though. I have no clue. But Merry Mushroom Village, my hate cell, I had actually done 2,515 stitches because I was 500 something stitches off of what I had been, because I usually will update that number every day, and I must have been really tired that day or something. It might have been over the weekend right after the hurricane, I don't know. But it was not right. So it was actually 2,515 stitches I did on the Hade cell. So I got that fixed. I know what my numbers are now. And I think now that I see how many stitches are left, that's why I was like, oh, maybe I still won't get it done. But I was like, oh, maybe I can get it done. No. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these boards updated. So we're gonna do my non-full coverage board first. I did work on Nightingale, which is right here, number 13. So my original plan when I started doing this was I picked 20 full coverage, 20 non-full coverage with ring lights. Set goals, 5,000 stitches for my non-full coverages. And my original plan was once I hit that 5,000, I was going to replace them with something else. And then I've been adjusting my plan since then, but we're going to soldier on with tracking the stitches on this stuff. I will probably still track stitches in a way in next year. I don't know if I'm going to track them like this or what I'm gonna do just yet. But anyway, let's get these numbers written down so I can show you everything else. Okay, Nightingale. I did 330 stitches on her. And so I had a goal of 5,000. So this number is dropping down to 4,670. All right, next one. My full coverage board, I didn't work on the full coverage I had pulled, but I did do the reindeer stocking for Monopoly, so that is on this board. And so my Monopoly stitches, if one of these pieces is in Monopoly, it counts towards these stitches. So my reindeer stocking, I did another 200 stitches. So this is going up to 600. And this is dropping down from 9,600 down to 9,400. Somebody had made a comment that they really enjoy watching the numbers drop down. I do too. That's why I was originally going to not do goals. I was going to do goals, and then I decided, no, I'm just going to keep working on these things. But maybe I will set goals for them in next year's Monopoly game, so we can still track that stuff. I'm still noodling on that one. Okay, so I did not work the November gnome. I did not work on that this past week, so that's staying blank, and that's why I'm not pulling a replacement for this. The working on till it's finished, I don't have stitch goals for them right now because I don't know how many stitches it'll take to finish them. So my plan is once I actually do finish it, I will just write the date I finished it on that slot. And then if I end up with something that can replace it, then I'll take that off and I'll replace it with the new one. But I don't have anything to replace them yet, but I have 15 projects work until it's finished. Just one more chapter is the one that I did for Great British Bake Off. And down here, I did put in previously 162 stitches. So this is increasing from 162 to adding that 825 I did, 987 stitches. It's like I've done almost 1,000 stitches. I still have more to go, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll work on this till it's finished. Okay, anyway. All right, final board. This is my 4 focus pieces. So my Hade Sal Honeymoon Sunset, my Whip of Shame, and Yippee-Ki-Yay. So my goal for Merry Mushroom Village is to finish it by the end of the year. So this is where I realized that I completely missed a day, because adding what I had written down to this right here did not match up to what was in Pattern Keeper. And Pattern Keeper is correct. So I was like, oh crap. So this is increasing from 51,538 to 54,053. And the stitches remaining on this is dropping from 9,962 down to 7,447. How exciting is that? Now, I will say that if I focused on this and this alone for a week, I could get that done. Am I going to do that? Absolutely not. Okay, Honeymoon Sunset. I did 1,174 stitches. So this number here, so my goal is 45% by the end of 2025. When I did this math, this was about 59,000 and change. It was just under 60,000 stitches I want to have by the end of next year. So that's where this number right here comes in. But this is increasing from 6,652 to 7,826. And stitches to reach the goal is dropping from 52,574 down to 51,400. Now let's see if I can write that so it's legible next week. 51,400. Walking to town, my goal is to do 100 stitches a day for the month. So for the month of October, there's 31 days. So I wanted to get 3,100 stitches on it. I feel like this is going to be a little incorrect because I feel like I might have missed a day or two. It's whatever. We're just going to count what I have, and what I had done was 681 stitches. So this is increasing from 1,684 to 2,315. And the stitches remaining on this is dropping from 1,416 down to 785. I will have that done the next time you see me. That'll be done because the next time I film will be on the 31st, which will be the end of the month. And that's when I will announce the winner for the Whip of Shame, and I'll show both of the pieces that you can vote on until the end of the month. So if you didn't see them last time. And then the last focus piece is Yippee-Ki-Yay. My goal is to finish it. I don't really have a deadline for it. I'd like to have it done before Christmas. And it's totally doable. The stitch count, the cross stitching is only 6,600 and change, and then there's back stitching. And I'm almost halfway done with the cross stitching already. So what I did, instead of doing just the cross stitching for the goal, I added 1,000 stitches. So I brought it up to 7,661. That might still be incorrect, but I was trying to account for back stitching. I'm not sure if that's accurate. We'll kind of play that by ear. So this is increasing from 2,126 to, I did 744, so this is increasing to 2,870, and my tentative remaining stitches are dropping from 5,338 down to 4,594. So we'll kind of play this number right here by ear. We'll definitely still keep tracking this, but this one I'm not sure about because, again, I don't know exactly how many stitches are in the back stitching. Whoopsies, I'm just kind of playing that by ear. Okay, so let's go over plans. Okay, my replacement piece for Monopoly, for the Nativity one that I'm like, screw it, I ain't working on this no more because the pattern is too hard to read. My replacement piece, I just pulled out one of my non-full coverages that I already have in on my board over here, and I pulled out Happy Easter from Tiny Modernist. I didn't really go through them, I just pulled one out, and this is the one I pulled. And let me just show you where the starting point is. I don't even know what fabric this is. It's upside down. Pretty purple fabric. That's my starting point for that. So this will be the replacement piece for Nativity on Mediterranean. Okay. Not working on it because nobody landed on Mediterranean, but that's the replacement piece for it. Okay. And then let me grab the 2 whips of shame so that you can go ahead and see them now before I talk about what I'm going to stitch on. So the whip of shame for the month of November is going to be one of these 2 pieces. If you have not voted yet, then you can vote just by saying which one you want. You don't have to say anything about why. You don't have to tell me a backstory. You don't even have to tell me, hey, I love your channel. You don't have to tell me anything. You could just literally type in horses, riding the wave, eagle. Like, I don't care. However, whatever you want to put in there to distinguish between the 2, you can put in there. So the first one up is Dimensions Gold Collection Gift of the Eagle Feather. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I am doing whatever came in the kit, and this is being stitched on an 18 count beige Aida, and I got this back in 1999, maybe 2000. I don't know. It's copyright 1999. And this is my starting point on it. Very pathetic start. But this is the Indian right here. And then when I had worked on it previously, I had worked my way over to the edge. So there's that one there, okay? The other one that you can vote on is from Creative Accents, and this is a division of dimensions, and this is Riding the Wave, and it's from 2003. And I'm, again, working on whatever came in the kit. A 16 count Dove Gray Aida. And this is my starting point on this one. Right there. So that's my starting point for that. So you can vote in the comments which one you would want to see me work on in the month of November. And I will announce the winner on my next Flosstube. So if you're watching this after October 31st, if you're watching this after October 31st, 2024, then you do not need to vote because we're past that point now. But you have until October the 31st. I'm not sure what time I'm going to film, so if you could try voting on the 31st if you want, but just keep in mind that I don't know where to put this stuff. Just keep in mind that if I'm actively filming and you're voting, I'm not gonna see your vote. So try to get your vote in before the 31st. I've been tracking what I've had so far, and it was neck and neck there. There is one that's starting to pull ahead, but it really was like neck and neck for like a week. but one is starting to pull ahead. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let's discuss temperature stitching. What I'm going to do is the stuff that I did not get to work on yet for temperature stitching is going to carry over into the coming week, plus the temperatures from the coming week. So that's going to be Twisted Band Sampler is carrying over, carrying over from last week. Hang on. That's what I wanted. This one here from Northern Expressions. And this one should get 200, almost dropped my notebook. This one should get 200 stitches. Let me find it, here it is. That's my starting point. It's got a little bit left in that. But that's my starting point. So this one will get 200 stitches. And then the next one will be Let's Talk Stitching. This is upcoming temperature. I'll try to specify if it's upcoming or new. Let's Talk Stitching from Hands On Design. This one will get 100 stitches, and that is I have my fabric all folded up. That's my starting point. So when I do my 100, I'm going to finish off that pair of scissors that's right here. I'm gonna finish that off. We'll finish the lighter color in the handle, and then I'll work on the blades. I feel like they're called something else. The blades, I feel like they're called something else. I don't know, but they're blades to me. Okay, the next one is going, oh wait, hold on. So Twisted Band Sampler is 0. 1 is Cup of Cheer, that's not getting anything. 2 is Poltergeist Pirates, that's not getting anything. 3 was Let's Talk Stitching. 4, okay, this is the big one. 4, Gothic House is carryover from last week. That is going to be 400 stitches. You're probably going to watch these plans and be like, how are you gonna get all this done? Well, I don't know, but I ain't working all week next week. And during the week, I only have one event going on, and that's an eye doctor appointment on Wednesday. So, Gothic House, that's what it's gonna look like when it's done. This one is owed 400 stitches from last week. And it is, where is it? It's right here. So I'm hoping to actually be able to get this stuff done. I'll go over like threads and fabrics and all that when I show them. So this one should get 400 stitches. So by getting that 400 stitches, that will actually complete the 1,000 stitch goal I have for this piece. And so it's going to get replaced. And 4 will come up again 2 more times this coming week. So its replacement should also get stitches of 200. And its replacement piece is going to be one of my Mill Hill kits. The Buttons and Beads Autumn Series Espresso. That's what it's gonna look like. And I need my board because you can see right through perforated paper. So this one should get, let me make sure I do it the right way. This one should get 200 stitches on it. So this will be the replacement piece once I get that 400 on Gothic House. And so then this one will have a 1,000 stitch goal. Okay, so that's 4. Number 5 is Halloween Wishes. I showed it earlier, and it's going to, it came up again. Halloween Wishes from Glendon Place, that one there. And just a reminder of my starting point, that there. This should get 200 more stitches on it, right? Yeah, this one should get 200 more stitches. And that's new stitches. Number 6 is carryover from last week, and that's Haunted Library Sal by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. And that's what it's going to look like when it's done. The carryover stitching is 100 stitches. And I'm still working in the prologue. I am so far behind because this thing was from 2 years ago. But it's okay. And that is, I can't see, that is my starting point. So this one should get 100 stitches on it. And that's new stitching. I think the rest of it is new. Let's see, number 7 is another upcoming temperature, and this is Peacock Gnome. That's what it's gonna look like. This is the whole pattern, so the actual pattern, so I'm holding it way back here. And this one will get 100 stitches. And that's my starting point. I guess I don't have to hold this way back there. But this is my starting point with that. And that is it for the temperature stitching. Okay. Next up, let's discuss, we'll do Let's do Monopoly next, because I have it right here. Okay, so Monopoly. The cat landed on Oriental Avenue, which is a side 1 piece, and it's not purchased yet. So the cat's going to purchase Oriental Avenue, and that side 1 is 100 stitches. And Oriental Avenue is Ho Ho Ho. Whoopsies. Keep dropping stuff. Side 1 is Ho Ho, or Oriental Avenue is Ho Ho Ho, and this is by Cross Stitch for Everyone. I actually got this off of her Facebook page. Cross Stitch for Everyone. She has some of her patterns she has in the files in her Facebook group, and that's where I got this. And that's my starting point with it. So this will get 100 stitches to purchase. And I will have all of, like, I will do the Monopoly, like the pieces where they landed, what color their stuff was and everything, for those of you playing along at home. That way you're not scrambling to find what needs to be done. I'll have all of that in the description box. And I will also probably, someone mentioned that they wanted to play along with the Bake Off stuff, but they did not get they didn't get like the American Netflix, like this, so they don't get the show on their Netflix. So what I'll probably do is go on the assumption that you're going to stitch how I'm going to stitch, and I will have, I'm not going to say who the people were so I don't spoil it for those who have not seen episodes yet, but I will go ahead and include my stitch counts for the Bake Off stitching as well in the description box. Okay, The dog rolled doubles and landed on Atlantic. And Atlantic is, and the dog was still in the first round around the board, so it's just 100 stitches. Atlantic is a wonderful time of the year. And this is, I'm excited for this one. I haven't worked on this one in a long time, since the beginning of last year. This is A Wonderful Time of the Year by Ursula Michael from Imaginating. I just realized Imaginating is located in Dayton. Like that their address is in Dayton. Huh. But this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And that's my starting point. Don't know where I'm going to go from there, but that's my starting point. So he had rolled doubles, so he rolled again, landed on luxury tax. So this is where, okay, so I started thinking about it when I was pulling my pieces. What I had originally said for luxury tax was that 100 stitches was going to go to free parking, and then for income tax, it was going to be 50 stitches to free parking. Oh, maybe I'll keep that. So if they land on luxury tax, 100 stitches goes to the free parking piece. Actually, let's double it. So we're going to say that if, let me write that down. Where's my pen? So if my luxury tax, I'm going to go ahead and do an adjustment now. If they land on income tax, it's going to be 100 stitches on the free parking piece. If they land on luxury tax, it will be 200. And then for, if they land on free parking, it'll be 400. Kind of like how it is for Go. Okay. So so luxury tax, it's going to be 200 stitches on my free parking piece, which is my other stocking. The Falling Snow by Alan Guiana, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. That's what that one's going to look like. And so this one will get, what did I say? What did I say? 200. Yeah. So this one will get 200 stitches. And kind of worked all over. That's my starting point. I'm probably going to do the diagonal on this one as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you this part here. But yeah. But I'm probably going to do this into a diagonal as well. So that's going to be my starting point. So 200 stitches on that. So landed on luxury tax, and it had gotten, so it got doubles the first time, landed on Atlantic. Got doubles the second time, landed on luxury tax. I was having a panic attack because I thought that it was, well, not really, but I thought it was going to get doubles a third time, but it did not, thank God. But it did pass Go. So I'm going to do 200 stitches on my reindeer stocking. Now both of these stockings are being done in tent stitch, so the 200 stitches is not going to take me very long at all. So my reindeer stocking is going to get 200 more stitches on it. Up here in this, I'm going to work in these parked threads, move them down if they're in the next diagonal, and then I'll work on whatever is left. I'll work on filling in the diagonal, but that's my starting point with that. And so when it landed on something, it was finally able to buy, because we're still on the dog, it was finally able to buy properties. And it landed on Connecticut. What is that? I don't know. It landed on Connecticut, and it's going to purchase Connecticut for 100 stitches. And Connecticut is Summertime by Stitch Rovia. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. And that's my starting point. I will probably honestly try to finish out the border. Well, I'm going to do 100 stitches towards this border that's right here. I might try to go ahead and try to get all this stuff done and work my way down. We'll see. I might change my mind too. You never know. I'm almost halfway done with this. I'm at 41% done with this piece, so that's exciting. Okay, now we're moving on to the thimble. The thimble landed on New York Avenue, and it's going to purchase New York Avenue. So New York is on side 2, so purchase price is 200 stitches. And New York Avenue is my Harry Potter stitch along for Peyton, not mine. So just a reminder of the parchment outline, that piece there. Like I said, every piece is going to be different. And Peyton's piece is right here. So this one is going to get 200 stitches on it. Is this Peyton's? Yeah. Here we go. I had to think about which way this was. And this is my starting point with it. So I had started in parchment 5 up here, but then when I went to go work on this the last time, I didn't have my computer handy, so I had come up here and I started doing the swirls and getting the wand worked in. So I don't know if I'm going to keep working on that, or if I'm going to come back over here and work on this some more. I don't know. Don't know yet. But it'll be his piece, his Harry Potter piece that gets worked on this week. And, oh, and then the car landed on Chance, which sent him directly to Go. So when you land on Go, that's 400 stitches. So that reindeer stocking will actually get 600 stitches, because 200 from the dog passing Go and 400 from the car landing on Go. So it'll be 600 stitches on my reindeer stocking. Okay. Now, Bake Off. This one is a little bit of a doozy. Okay. So, I'm not going to say names, but I will just tell you the stitch counts. And okay, so I'm not going to say names, but somebody, so I watched episode 2, week 2, and it was biscuit week. And somebody left. Was it biscuit week? Okay, so I have to be truthful here. I already watched all the episodes that are available, so I already know what the stitch counts are going to be. Like, I'm not changing anything, but I watched ahead. Now I can't remember what, the week 2 I believe is biscuit week. But someone left during the technical challenge. Like, they're just like, I don't feel good. I can't do anymore. I'm done. And they're gone. So that person's stitch count is going to on Honeymoon Sunset. Their stitch count was 700 stitches. Somebody did get a handshake in the signature. No. This person got a handshake in the showstopper. And their stitch count, I keep saying it. Their stitch count was 1,200 stitches. So that's another 1,200 towards Honeymoon Sunset. The person who got eliminated from the competition, their stitch count was 500. And the person who got Star Baker that week, Their stitch count was 1,100. All of those go on Honeymoon Sunset. I might have to carry over stitches. Grand total for stitches on Honeymoon Sunset is 3,500 stitches. That is a lot. Now, if you are going to play along at home, what you can do is I'm going to put in there if someone got a handshake, if someone got Star Baker, if like, I'm going to put the stitch counts of each thing. So like handshake, I'll say, who was it? The handshake person, their stitch count was 1,200, right? Star Baker, their stitch count was 1,100. Eliminated, the two eliminated because one left and one got eliminated were like, what, 500 and 700. If you want to, you can opt to do a set stitch count for a handshake. If you don't want to do that person's stitch count for a handshake, you can opt to just do a set stitch count. If you're kind of doing it monogamous like me, you can just say, okay, instead of doing that person's stitch count, I'm just going to say if somebody gets a handshake, then I'm going to put in like 200 stitches or 300 stitches or even 500 stitches, whatever, extra. So you do have that option. I'm nuts and I'm not going to do that. So 3,500 stitches is due on Honeymoon Sunset. The person who got last in technical, so there was 11 people that did the technical bake. So the last place was 25 times 11, which is a total of 275 stitches. And the person who gets first in technical, that would be 50 times 11, so that's 550 stitches. The person who was last, or who was first in technical, was an even stitch count. Theirs was 400. Like their stitch count assignment was 400. So that is just one more chapter. And just real quick. Well, no, I already showed you. So Honeymoon Sunset, 3,500 stitches. Just one more chapter was that one I showed you that had the 875 stitches. That one there. So this one is going to get another 200, no, this one, oh my God. The person who got first in technical was an even stitch count, so this one is going to get another 550 stitches. The person who got last in technical had an odd stitch count. Their stitch count assignment was 900. So that was good because that means that I get to work on the other one, which is Best Friends Quotes. So I'll show you this one because I didn't work on it last week. And this is from Stitch Area on Etsy. This pattern is no longer available. But this one is going to get 275 stitches. This is my starting point with it. No, it's not done yet. It's almost done though. So I think what I might, I don't know where my 275 is gonna go. I might maybe try to, so I have to, oh yeah, I forgot. There's dots up here. There's 2 more colored dots that go right there. And I'll have to go through the pattern just to make sure I'm not missing anything. But I gotta finish the chopsticks, and I wanna say that the chopsticks are backstitched. And I gotta finish the holiday armadillo. The words more turkey go right here. I need to backstitch the words wapa right there. The turkey needs to be outlined, backstitched. This is a name tag that says, hello, my name is Regina Phalange. I need to finish the duck. And this is going to say big fat goalie in here. Well, the word goalie is already there. I need to put big fat on there. And I think then that will be done. Oh, and then there's 7s. There's a number 7 and the word 7 that go here too. It's almost done. It's close. So that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping that by doing it like this, I can get these work on till it's finished pieces done. So if this thing gets completed before the season is up, I will replace it with a new work on till it's finished piece. Same with just one more chapter. Okay, so that's my bake-off stuff, and I'll have that information in the description box down below as well. Now, for the weekly stitching, I have my Hayes Sal that I'm still going to do 300 stitches a day on, and I have my Yippee-Ki-Yay piece that I'm going to work on, and my Whip of Shame. How many stitches do I owe on this? 785. So this ideally will have its stitches done the next time you see it. And the 2 pieces that I pulled are White Tiger Ghost. This is actually also a Monopoly piece, so this won't be the only time you see it. But White Tiger Ghost is from the Cross Stitch Studio. And this doesn't have a stitch count per se. Maybe I should try to give it a goal of like 400 stitches or something, 500 stitches, because I feel, well, no, I have priorities with my stitching this week. So this is gonna be like whatever I can throw onto it, and I'm looking for it. Here it is. White Tiger Ghost from the Cross Stitch Studio. This is a crop, and artwork is by Jeremy Paul. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. Boop! Look at the kitty. Meow. I think tigers roar. I don't think they meow. That's my starting point. I'm doing it on 14 count Aida because I had it and it fit. This is starting off at 5%. I don't think I've worked on this year, because I think my goal last year was to get it to 5%. I'm not sure if I'm going to convert this into a diagonal, or if I'm not 100% certain what I'm going to do with this just yet, but that's my starting point. I did an upper left-hand corner start. I'm not going to do the 4 corners coming in because I don't have this thing gridded. And I don't trust myself to count like that. I can count boxes, but I'm not counting individual stitches like that. The non-full coverage I pulled for the week is another Monopoly piece actually. And this is Holiday Quaker. And that's what that's gonna look like. This is from Lila's Studio. And I am doing this on a 32 count Lagana over 2 in the color Something Blue by Mystic Fabrics. I love her stuff. Oh, that reminds me, I need to pay my fabric of the month. I'll do that when I'm done. That's my starting point. I did an upper left-hand corner start. So I will continue in this motif here. We'll see how much of that. I'm not stressed about, actually, honestly, I'm not stressed about working on either one of those pieces this week, only because they are both Monopoly pieces, so I know that they're going to come around again eventually. Oh, whoops, I just realized I don't have the pattern in here. Now, the pieces that I'm going to keep Nightingale out if I decide to work on her again. And then the piece that, the other ones that I did not get to work on, it was my full coverage pull from the actually a couple weeks ago. And I still really want to work on this. It's Hiding Place by the Cross Stitch Studio. Artwork is by Abraham Hunter. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I am going to keep this out to see if I can work on it. I will work on this before I work on White Tiger Ghost. And I counted over, let me just show you my starting point with this. I am starting off at 2.24%. So I had originally started in the upper left-hand corner, and then I counted the squares over to the other end, and because I'm doing this in tent stitch, and my tent stitch, if I do a diagonal, I want to do it from the right because my stitches go to the left. So that's you can't really see, but there are multiple colors in there. It's not just black, but that's my starting point with that. So this is where I'll be starting from, and I'll be working on the next diagonal. Actually, yeah, no, tent stitch. I'm going to keep it like that. So that's my starting point with that. And then, like I said, I'm going to keep Nightingale out in case I have time to work on her. I don't know if I will, but I'm not stressing it. And then the other one is my new start that I did not get to start. And it's from the Year of Gnome Stitch Along from Cross Stitch for Everyone. And I pulled out the November one. And that is what that little guy is going to look like. And I will be doing him, I'll be doing him on a 28 count white Monaco 1/1 full cross. This was another long video. I know it's split up, so I don't know exactly how long, but I know it's a long one. So my plans are going to be, like, my priorities are going to be get back in the daily stitching so that I can get as much of the SAL done as I can, and also to complete the 785 stitches needed for the Whip of Shame, even though I feel like it should be less if I would have actually wrote down every day, because I know I did not, because I was short 500 stitches with my math for the SAL. But my priority is going to be the daily stitching, and then Monopoly will be my next priority. Because I play with you guys. Well, you guys play along. So that's kind of like my top priority is the Monopoly. And then the bake-off stitches. I think if I can't get to all of the stitches for bake-off, I will not do the next episode until I complete those stitches. So, like, if I can't get the technical stitches, I know I'll be able to get, but if I can't get the 3,500 stitches on Honeymoon Sunset before I see you guys again, I will, depending on how many are left, I will hold off on the following episode or hold off until the following week to move on to the next episode of stitches, because I'm already behind anyway. They're going to be releasing week 5 today, and this is the stitch count that I'm giving you is for week 2. So I ain't stressing that. And then the temperature stitching, and then my weekly pulls, those are going to be like the lowest priority, except I do want to try to make Yippee-Ki-Yay more of a priority than the rest. So I would say daily stitching, Monopoly, Bake Off, Yippee-Ki-Yay, temperature, and then the rest of the weekly pulls. That's a lot of projects. That's a lot of stitching planned. I think what I might do for the weekly pulls is maybe give myself a stitch count goal. And then if I have time later on down the road, maybe like in the week, maybe throw in more, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I will see how many stitches it is total for the stuff that has a set stitch count, because that 3,500 on Honeymoon Sunset's really, like, I mean, it's tent stitch, so it's not like it's impossible, but it's a lot. I would get so far though. Ooh, that's a lot of stitches on that diagonal. I wonder if I could finish that diagonal with the 3,500. Where is it? Where it be? Here it is. Let's look at that diagonal real quick, and let's see if we can guesstimate if that diagonal would get done. So this is where I'm starting on the diagonal, right here. Like right about there. And then as you can see, some of it's already done, right? Because I've been working on this all over the place since like 2021. maybe before that. I don't remember how far back now. But like this chunk is done. So once I like, it'll be like whoop, skipping over that. And then once I get kind of up here, it's just like a few stitches here and there. So what I might do is maybe work in my park threads and then kind of work from down here. That way I just have like this, I'll be able to see it a little bit easier. That's what I do with my hate cell too. I work in the park threads, work my way up, and then when I get up here where it's like small scattered, I get those done and I work down to where it's like a bigger chunk so I don't end up missing stitches. But I don't know, what do you guys think? You think that 3,500 would complete that diagonal? It might. Maybe the next time you see, there's a little bit more right up there at the top. Let me see. So right there. Oh, maybe I can get that diagonal done. And then I'll come back down here and start on that diagonal. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Okay. Like I said, it's a lot of stitching, but I ain't working next week, which I'm excited about. But I'm not gonna, I'm probably not gonna get a lot of stitching done on Saturday because I'm going to this LNS in Ocala. It's like a 2-hour one-way drive. So we're gonna drive 2 hours there, shop for hours, and 2-hour drive back. Maybe I'll take one of my projects with me to stitch in the car because my mom's gonna drive. Oh, I hope she bought a new car too. Oh, it's gonna be so nice. I might bring one of my smaller projects with me in case. Might do that. I might bring one of my smaller projects with me to stitch on the car, in the car, just in case. And then we're gonna also have dinner, I think, tomorrow too. So, I don't know. I do not know if I'm gonna get any stitching done on Saturday, so there's a day down. But I'm excited to see what the plan's gonna be or what I actually get done. Anyway, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. And I already know I'm nuts. You don't need to tell me with all the stitching that I want to do. Yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. If you're watching this and you are not already subscribed, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. I try to post every week. This month got really messed up because of Hurricane Milton. But I think I'm getting back on track now. So take care, happy stitching, get a lot of stitches in. I hope I do. And I will see you guys in my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.